I want to show you a couple quick clips. I want to talk about blood for a quick second, and then we're gonna work for a quick second on our some of our projects. But let me explain this quiz again for those of you who either missed it or were too focused on my sill bills from yesterday. I thought about that like a lot. Okay, I think I had a minor stroke. I'm pretty sure I stroked out because like either that or it was all the vodka I drank at lunch just slurred all of my speech. All right, so here we go. We got the song SBC, IVC, right atrium. The quiz for Thursday is going to be, it's going to look very similar. Here's the blanks, but over here will be the picture. Okay, so you get something like this. Here's the blanks. Here will be the picture, and the picture is going to look like my drawing. It will have everything. Someone asked me this. Will it be color? Yes. Will be blue and red? Yes. So you know which is the right-hand side, which is the left-hand side. Will you have the arrows coming in and out? Yes. Okay, so you'll know that that's going out to the lungs and going into the back into the heart, right? So, but the numbers will be all switched around. Okay, so this is how it goes. Number one is SVC. That's here. SVC, IVC, right atrium, tricuspid valve, right ventricle, pulmonary artery, lungs, pulmonary vein, left atrium, bicuspid valve, left ventricle, aorta. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Can I come up and take pictures so I can make it?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Where you share with others?
Obviously.
Okay, that's so nice. All right, now, so yeah. Dang it. It should be, so, sorry, this is a completely different thing. So when I click on the link from Classroom, you should get this. Is this not popping up for you? Okay, cool. Hope. It's been forever, Hope. I thought you dropped the class. Oh, we're talking about a quiz on Thursday. My hair's feeling wacky. All right, now. So I'm going to mess up I'm going to change up the order. So in this case, if you want, write the actual song down, then go and fill in the blanks. Okay? So you can start with number 5, number 6, or if you're just like, I got this, right? So number 1, what's number 1? Nope. Right atrium. Okay, what's this one? Left atrium. What's this one? Right ventricle. What's this one? Left ventricle. 5 is the SBC. 6 is the IVC. 7, I'm going out. Pulmonary artery. What's going in? Pulmonary vein. Lungs, good. Now 10, 11, there is a hint. Those 3 things. Tricuspid valve, why is that a hint? Tri, right? Number 11 is there's 2 things. That's bicuspid and then aorta. Okay? I will always change it up. That's how the quiz is going to work. I'm not going to just do it in order. Yeah, you get me? You with me now? So, and it may not even be in this order, right? I may go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I may go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. Okay, you with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I told everybody, if you're like, this is really hard for you, you got this, you nailed this. Write that down. SBC, IVC, right? And so instead of starting with number 1 here, start with number 5. I know that's SBC, so I'm going to write number 5, SBC. Okay, number 6, IVC. Now I'll go number 1, like bounce around so your paper looks more like this. Does that make sense, Scott? Okay, now the other thing that I was thinking about when I was looking at all this stuff was the fact that when we look at the heart, if you need to do your thing, Hannah, talk to me. Do you want to do that? Yeah, that's fine. But make sure you catch up with me.
I got it.
Okay, most people think like 4 chambers of the heart, that it looks like a Punnett square for people, you know? Here's the atriums, here's the ventricles, but that's not how it works. And I started to ask somebody else a question, and it made me realize, I don't think they realize what this looks like. So I want to show you a picture of this. It's actually a quick little surgery of a heart that's being transplanted in a patient in Argentina. That doesn't really matter. What I really want you to see is this, the atria. Okay, so I typed in, this kind of freaked me out. I think it's probably just because my computer knows me. I typed in human heart beating in body, and I was looking for something that would be appropriate. And I popped up a second ago. Where is it now? Oh, let's see. No, it's not going to work. Okay. So I'm going to go to.
Did you click on it?
Hold on a second. Where's my video that I wanted to see? I lost all my. Yes. Okay, here it is. Argentina. Yeah. I got it. Thank you, guys. All right. So I'm going to make this a little big. So this is they're cutting into the patient. But it's not the heart transplant that I'm really interested in here at this point, which is cool. And we can watch another one of these later. There, they're sewing in, cutting right in there to the. All right, it's this thing. That's the atria. That little floppy thing is the atria. Okay, it's not that big. And yesterday when we started talking about the, hold on a second, I'll stop it here in a second. Did I already go too far? Let's go here. Here we go, sewing. You can see the beating heart there. Okay, there it is. This is it. That's the atria. And the other one is like that too. They're just tiny little flappy things at the top. Okay, and when we start talking about blood pressure yesterday, we started talking about the impact of the ventricles. Let me go back to that slide. Okay, I want you to really think about the fact that the atria are just nice little, like quick, small little reservoirs for that blood before it gets to that giant functional unit of the ventricles. So remember from our EKG, the P wave is when the atria contract, the QRS is when the ventricles contract, the T wave is when the ventricles relax. The atria are relaxing when the ventricles contract, right? So yesterday we talked about the whole sound of your heart. Most of you in this room have a lub-dub. Okay, every single class yesterday had someone with a heart murmur. Okay, so that would be lub-dub-dub, an extra little beat in there. But when your first sound happens, what's going on in the rest of your body? This is when you have your highest amount of pressure in your ventricles. Now let me turn the lights back on. I'm gonna come back to this. I did a really stupid little drawing. Okay, this drawing is dumb. There's not much to it. Okay, but here you go. Here is the heart. Okay, and we've got the atria on top, the ventricles on the bottom. Okay, horrible drawing. Okay, but I want to talk about your blood pressure. When your atria fill up, okay, there's going to be no blood down here. What do you think the pressure is like inside these two giant caverns if there's no blood in there?
Low pressure.
Low pressure. That's the bottom number of your blood pressure reading. So when we did like 120 over 80 or Cody's 165 over, what was it, 165 or over 100? 120 or something like that. Yeah, he's lucky to be alive for sitting with this down. All right, but okay, now look, when these valves open up, right? Okay, then the blood goes in there. If the blood is in here, what's the pressure like? It's really high, right? So when the blood, when that first out, that love, okay, that's because those AV valves close. Those AV valves are closed because all of the blood is gone into here. Look at the pressure. It's ginormous. Okay. Then when we push that out, okay, we're sending that out into the body. Okay. That's when that pressure decreases. Okay. So when that blood begins to go out, when that happens, then we're sending that out to the rest of the body. Okay. So everyone asks me, what's a normal blood pressure? You know, what's normal? I found this chart a long time ago, and I've really struggled with like how to teach blood pressure, how to think about blood pressure, how to even, you know, think about it myself. And it wasn't until this year when I got my COVID test that I had that light bulb moment of, I was just getting ready to text you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was like, oh, I'll show you that. That light bulb moment where I went to get my COVID test. I was like, got my blood pressure. It was like 140 over 90. Okay, I got my COVID test and they said, oh, you're negative. Okay, here's what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. And see you later. I was like, whoa. Let me ask about my blood pressure. Why is it 140? And she's like, it's you're probably stressed. She was like, not even 2 cares. You know, I know I've told you this already. Okay, but like, it's just such a powerful moment for me because that's when she's like, check it every day for like, you know, a couple months and see what happens. That's when I became obsessive compulsive and checked it like 20 times a day. Okay. Because I was freaked. I was like, oh my God, 140. Okay. And 140 is just like, we're on the low end of the high blood pressures, right? You know, not on this high end over here. Okay. So I started like checking it and it was fine. She's like, it's probably you're stressed about the COVID test. You're stressed about like, you know, other stuff in life and maybe what'd you have for lunch? Oh, you had a lot of salt. That's probably it. Okay. So that was that moment where I thought, you can't just look at a chart like this. You can't just say like, you test your blood pressure once, like, oh, sheesh, you know, like I've got, like Jacob is a great example of this too, right? Okay. Blood pressure changed over time and we look at that. It's like the Eel River. Okay. Why is it like the Eel River? The Eel River right now looks chocolatey. Why is the Eel River chocolatey right now? Yeah, the rain. Okay. Where did the chocolate come from? Yeah, the dirt off the farmer's fields went into a ditch that went into a pipe that went into a creek that went into the river. Okay. And eventually it'll end up in the Gulf. Okay. Or on the banks of some other, you know, person's land that's flooded. Okay, that's why it looks that way. Okay, it's not going to look like that way in a week if it doesn't rain, right? It's going to start to clear up because all that settlement settles out. Okay, so when we have blood pressure above 210, if it's like that, like for a long period of time, dear God, I'm in trouble. Now, low blood pressure is a little different. Okay, low blood pressure kind of means you got like a leak in your tire. Okay, so I asked Trace, and I was like, after the accident, do you remember what your blood pressure was? He said, I knew it was low, but I didn't know like how low. Well, like when you transect your aorta, you're going to have blood coming out of a closed system, right? That's going to drop your blood pressure incredibly low. Now, I don't know if he was in like the 50s by any means, but I've never seen that. Somebody asked me last period, they're like, hey, if you have, is it possible to have a bigger lower number? Okay, so remember, this is when the AV valves close, those ventricles are filling up with blood, that pressure's high, okay, and then the AV valves open, okay, and then that's when we've got that whole getting ready to pump that blood out to the rest of the body. Okay, here's that, the ventricles are getting out there. It's not possible. I mean, anything's possible, I guess, but like, I couldn't find anything about it. Nobody else could find anything about it. Okay, so that top number, that 120 over 80 is what's normal. And typically that's the number that we want to look at. Okay. I mean, we look at both numbers. Okay, but we want to look at that top one for sure. Okay. Let's talk about blood for a second. So there's blood, but blood looks weird in this test tube. We've got some yellow stuff up here, a little white stuff. We got a bunch of red stuff down here. Does anybody know why blood in this test tube looks this way? Yeah, we separate it. We put it in a gravitron, aka a centrifuge. You ever do the gravitron? Okay, where like you're at the fair, okay, you get in this thing and you sit on this seat, right? And then all of a sudden, like the seat drops out from underneath you and you're pressed against the wall because you're spinning like this. Right? Y'all with me on this? This is what they do to separate your blood. And you poor kids who are 18, you can go get some money. First time you go, they might be $1,000 or close to it. There you go. Okay. And that's BioLife in Fort Wayne, right next to Meyer. Okay. Now, don't quote me on the $1,000 there, but there's a lot of incentives and it changes over time. It used to be 500. You can get, kind of depends on how often you go, but you're on an average like 40 to $100 a week if you do it. It's almost like people are like, Bert, why don't you do it? It's a time thing for me because it's the first time you go, you got to have at least about a 3 to 4 hour chunk of time. Okay. Then you sit there, they pull your blood out, they put it in a centrifuge. Then they just want this stuff, the plasma. So they take the plasma off, okay, to use it for a bunch of different things. The plasma's great. Okay. There's proteins in there, there's nutrients, there's regulatory substances. They put all the red blood cells and white blood cells back in your body. Okay. Now, I did have a friend a few years ago that went donated and she fell asleep while she was donating. And then she like woke up because her arm felt funny. She looked down and her entire arm was black and blue and it was huge. It looked like somebody had like beat the crap out of her arm. Okay. It ended up that they missed the vein. The tech missed the vein and was pumping her blood into the tissue surrounding her bicep muscle. And I said, hey, did you get extra money? They're like, they just said, sorry. I was like, dang, man. Yeah.
So is there any like potential problem with having too much blood in relation to plasma or?
No, your body will generate more. Yeah, no, that's a great question, though. That's a great question. You have to be 18. You gotta be 18. That's it. And I think like, I don't know about like tattoos, and I'm sure like if you have AIDS, you can't do it. Or diabetes. Oh, you can't donate because of the sugars. Oh no, you'll be poor for life. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Right? Yeah. I did think about, not you, because you're luckily not a man, but this morning I was listening to the radio and they were talking about ED, erectile dysfunction. And they're like, look, here's the deal, man. If you have diabetes, you may have ED. Okay. And so, yeah, I didn't think about the beatus causing that, but heart problems, all those things. Okay. So we spin this out. Why is the red blood cells at the bottom? We spun it out. Why are these at the bottom? Why is the plasma at the top?
I don't know, because usually when you look at something in the fridge and it separates, it's like water at the top.
Yeah? Is it an oil water thing? Not really.
Not really, but I think it has to be.
It's density. Yeah, this is heavy. So these guys are heavier, so they just go to the bottom, right? Everything else when you spit it out. Now, I did have a student, Becca Rich. I don't know if anybody knows Becca Rich, but Becca, she was like so fascinated with this. Now I do have a centrifuge. And so she's like, I want to try it with my blood. I was like, oh, I don't know. And then she kept pestering me. This is the only time I would ever do this. So I took some of her blood and I like just poked her hand, right? And we squeezed out some blood, but it wasn't enough. Like I needed like more. So I cut her finger off the tip. I just gave up at that point. We used to back in the day, like no joke. We used to poke ourselves in my biology class in the 80s, and like we were playing with blood all the time. And then, AIDS, herpes. Okay, so we're gonna talk more about blood tomorrow. But what's the most common? Anybody know your blood type? You guys know your blood types? I can't. One time, like when I first started teaching, I was like, everybody look at your birth certificate. It's not even on your birth certificate. Okay, to really find your blood type, you have to either donate blood, okay, or go in for a specific blood test, or your parents at some point may have had history of this, but it's not like on your birth certificate. Okay, so which I thought it was. Anyway, so I'm A positive, but that's not the most common blood type in the United States. A plus isn't number one. Nice guess. It is O positive. Okay. O is the universal donor. A, B is the universal recipient. We'll talk about the positives and negatives later. Okay. Someone earlier today, they're like, oh, I think my mom is O blood type, and my dad's A blood type, so I don't know what I could be. And I was like, well, if your mom was O and your dad was O and you're AB blood, then that's not your mom and dad. Yeah, it's not possible. Sorry. Yeah, that's one of those things. And we'll talk about the genetics of that tomorrow. But everybody right now, I want you to open up your Chromebooks, go to Google Classroom, and open up the thing that says Research Prep 6. The sixer. Yo. Lungs. Right? Lungs. 7's pulmonary artery, 8's pulmonary vein, 9's lungs. 10 is, in this drawing, is tricuspid, 11's bicuspid, 12's aorta. 7 is pulmonary artery. 8's pulmonary vein. 9 is the lungs. Open this up and let's talk about this for a second. So, I have to get this. That was in the mail today. So I kept it for you. Tell her I said hi. Angie Brynett. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. After much thought and discussion about dates and not dates, can't do it now. Can't do it this time. Okay. We are going to officially do our project May 7th. That's May 7th. Now listen, here's the deal. Okay. We got, it's a Friday. We got a lot of time to do it. Okay, from now we worked hard to get to this point. Remember, we're going to have our posters up here on the board. We're not going to print them off anymore and have them around the building and have Greta's 8th graders learn about this stuff. They used to judge that, but then a parent got upset about penises. Fine, whatever. Okay, this is before you had to sign a paper even. So we'll just do it with us. Okay. If you're the introduction, you present the introduction. If you're the methods, you present the methods. Now, I didn't used to have to think about this, but then, of course, this is why we can't have nice things. Okay, kids were not showing up on the day of the presentation and screwing their group. Okay, I get it. It's fine, whatever. Okay, here's the deal. If you don't show up, fine, but you then have to present the entire paper, the introduction, the methods, the results, the discussion. Okay. It's not a punishment. That's just the way it's going to be. Okay. Y'all with me on that?
Sounds like a punishment.
Just show up, man. Then it's not. Okay. So there you go. You should already know what's going on in your paper anyway, right? Okay. Just show up that day. You got to present the whole thing. Okay. Somebody said, what if I'm getting my wisdom teeth out that day? Sorry. Okay. What if I'm like really throwing up that day? Sorry. Okay. That's going to be my rule. Okay. You get your stuff together because that's it. Yep.
What if you're here, then you have to leave because of something?
You still have to present it for the entire. If you are not here for your presentation, what's that?
How are you going to present it if you're like dying on your bed?
No, like when you come back.
Well, you're not.
When you come back from dying.
What's that? Yeah, you could zoom in to do it. Yeah.
Just
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to have to do this, but it gets to the point where it's like, you do, right? Yeah, like there you go. Don't screw your group. All right, now here's what I want to do today. Some of you have already gotten to this point, okay, but enough of you haven't that I'm going to give you the rest of the time to finish this up. This link will take you to a template that will show you a bunch of, like a Google search for a bunch of different templates. I want you to choose your template, and maybe you already done this, okay, but there's enough people that didn't and also did it incorrectly. Choose your template, and it has to be a Google slide, and you cannot search Google Slides templates. There's no research ProServe project template on Google Slides. You have, it's most of these that you're searching for are PowerPoints that will open up in Google Slides. Y'all with me on this? So you have to find one, and then you as a group have to share that. So like if I'm in a group with you for whatever, I find it, then I'm going to share that with you because this is the document that you're all typing on. Are y'all with me on this? You will all be typing on this one template that you will use as your presentation. Okay, this is the easy part of the presentation. Okay, it's just you're going to cut and paste some of that stuff that we've done right here into your template, but you all have to share that one template with each other. It has to be editable. Y'all with me on this?
How do you know if it is?
Well, you open it up and then you type on it. Okay, you click on the text boxes and then you can cut and paste. Okay, once you find that, share it with each other. I'm going to give you the rest of the time to do that. Any questions? Okay, go for it. Yes. Hope's online here. Hey, it's no worries. I'm so glad you're here. So you can chat with Hope if you want to jump on the Zoom. Matthew, and then Josie's in here. Who else is in your group? Hey, what's happening on
They're voting on 416 right now, but I don't think they've gotten 389.
Okay.
That's 414.
Yeah.
So it might get good soon.
Okay.
I think they got through all of their like introductory stuff and they're actually like voting on the bills.
Okay. I
So-
just got a text from Ethan Esposette, who was like, dude, it's happening. So he's gonna
I was reading that and it just got me really bad.
Nice.
Just like this one.
that's really good. Hi, Matthew.
Oh, were you?
Hello.
No, it was topped off by evening third period and that message.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
Third period, I checked my phone and I'm like an AFC now. That makes no sense. I was just in there.
Hold on a second.
It was just he said he was there. I'm like, oh, it's burn work.
Yeah, Matthew.
Mute me on this.
Unmute you. I can't mute. I can't. You unmute yourself, right? You can unmute
I
yourself.
know, but then you hear me from there.
Oh, you want me to mute?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. No, you just muted yourself.
I did mute. Oh,
Oh, that's just like.
I muted. That doesn't work that way, man.
Okay.
I'll just turn you. I'll just
Yeah,
turn.
yeah, just deafen yourself. All right. Hello, Hope.
I'm so confused at how